Namaskar to you all. Today we will discuss the periodic table part 2. The part 1 we have already discussed. Today we will discuss the part 2, the remaining part of periodic table IGCSE chemistry. Okay?
Okay, as you can see, some um, common properties of halogen are showing in this picture. Garima, can you see this picture? This picture is
Yes,
visible to you?
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, now what we have learned the few properties of halogen that we have just learned that they are poisonous, they have strong similar smell. The smell is suffocating or pungent smell, है ना? They have strong smell. They all are non-metal that we have discussed. And the third property that they are they all form diatomic molecule. We have learned this term: monoatomic, diatomic, triatomic, polyatomic. So di means two. Diatom means a molecule has two atoms in a molecule. As you can see, the Cl2, Br2 and I2 is written. The halogen, they exist in the form of diatomic molecule. Okay, Cl2, Br2, I2, etc. The fourth properties, they all have a valency. Combining power, we know what is valency: number of shared pair of electron by an atom. Okay, number of electrons shared by an atom with the another atom or element, or the last outermost electron is also called valency. Okay, so they have valency 1. For example, hydrogen chloride HCl, the Cl has valency 1 and hydrogen has valency 1. That's why the formula of hydrogen chloride is HCl. Okay, then HBr, the valency of bromine is 1, the valency of hydrogen is 1. So the formula of hydrogen bromide is HBr. I think we can write the chemical formula of the compound if we know the valency. Okay. Then the fifth property is their compound with hydrogen are usually strong acid. Compound with hydrogen, as you can see, HCl, Hi, HBr, the compound with hydrogen. And we know this HCl, hydrogen chloride, is known as hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. Okay, HBr also a strong acid, and Hi also, when they dissolve into the water. Okay, and we have learned in the previous chapter, acid, base and salt, the acid which release H plus ion in the water. Okay, and a strong acid which release all the H plus ion. So this HCl, HBr, Hi release all the H plus ion. Okay, the next property, they each produce a series of compound with other element: chloride, bromide, iodide. Okay, and these are called halides. Their compounds are called halide because the group is called halogen. Chlorine, bromine, iodine are called halogen. So their chloride, bromide, iodide are called halide. Okay, the next property, the halogen themselves can react directly with the metal to form metal halide. And generally the metal halides are salt. We have heard about the NaCl, sodium chloride, the chloride of sodium metal. Sodium metal belong to the group 1. Okay, so they react directly with the metal to form metal halide. They all form negative ion carrying a single charge. This ID halide, this IDES, IDE, this IDE is a suffix which attached to a negative ion only. Okay, have you heard about chloride, bromide, iodide? You have just heard this chloride, bromide, iodide, but you have heard about carbide. Carbide has negative ion, negative charge on carbon. Oxide, you have heard. Oxide, oxygen has negative charge. So the suffix is used ide after the original name. Oxygen plus id, oxide. Chlorine, id, chloride. Like that. And the last property, we have discussed all the property of halogen. Now come to the inert gas, the 18 group. 18 group are called noble gas group or inert gas group or zero group. Why they are called zero group, 8th group or zero group? Because they have zero valency. Zero valency means they do not react with any other element. They have electron in their outermost shell, but the outermost shell is completely filled. That's why they will not react with any other element. That's why they are called inert group or inert gas. They all are gas, and that's why they are called noble gas. They are very, very stable. They have completely filled outermost shell or they have completely filled octet. Okay, as you can see in the picture, they do not react with other atoms. In many situations where atom of other element bond or react chemically, they are trying to achieve the stable arrangement of electron found in the noble gas. Whenever an element react other than the noble gas, all the element react like that manner in which they will gain the inert gas configuration. They want to achieve the inert gas configuration or number of electron like the inert gas in the outermost shell. Okay, for example, if we talk about sodium, sodium has 1 electron in the outermost shell. When the sodium reacts, it loses 1 electron, and after losing of 1 electron, sodium has 8 electron in the outermost shell. The configuration of sodium and the configuration of neon will same after losing of 1 electron by sodium. What is the total number of electron present in the outermost shell of neon? Garima, how many electrons are present in the outermost shell of neon? Any? Garima, how many electrons are present in the outermost shell of any neon?
Ma'am, wait, 8. Ma'am, 2.
Neon has 8 electron in the outermost shell. Okay. And after losing of
Oh yeah, got it.
and after losing of 1 electron, the sodium gains 8 electron in the outermost shell. Okay. So we can understand the losing and gaining of electron by this picture. In this picture, some numbers are written above these symbols. Before H1 is written, before He2 is written, before Li, above the Li 2-1, above the Be 2-2. This 2-1 is the electronic configuration of lithium. This 2-2 is the electronic configuration of beryllium. This 2-3 is the electronic configuration of boron. 2-4, 2-5, 2-6, 2-7 and 2-8. So you can see the outermost electron of any, it is 8. Okay, and the outermost electron present in the sodium is 1. After losing of 1, sodium gains 2-8 configuration, and this 2-8 and this 2-8 is same. Matlab neon and Na plus has same electronic configuration. Okay, Priyanshi? Priyanshi?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you please tell me how many electrons are present in the outermost shell of magnesium in this picture?
2, ma'am.
2. Okay. So, please tell us how many electron will be loses by magnesium? Will be lose by magnesium to gain electron?
Ma'am, Ma'am, 2 only.
2 only. Okay. Magnesium loses 2 electron to gain inert gas configuration like neon. After losing of 2 electron, magnesium gain the inert gas configuration. Now these two are metals. Now come to the non-metal and we will check the behavior of non-metal. For example, chlorine. Chlorine has 287 in the outermost shell. Okay. So will it lose 7 electron? No. It is very difficult to lose 7 electron from the outermost shell. Same as fluorine, it has 2 and 7. Outermost shell has 7 electron. So in place of losing of electron, fluorine, chlorine, the 7 group will gain 1 electron. Okay. If the fluorine gains 1 electron, Aditya, after gaining of
Yes,
1
ma'am.
electron, after gaining of 1 electron by fluorine, what will be the outermost electrons? What will be the
8.
number? 8. Okay. So the total number of electron present in the F negative fluoride are 8. Sorry, 10.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
the
10,
outermost
10.
10. And outermost electrons are 8. Okay. And again, the fluorine gains the electronic configuration to it similar as neon. Now see this picture. This picture is for potassium atom and for the argon atom. Okay. The argon has electronic configuration 288. Completely filled outermost shell. The outermost shell has space for 8 electron and 8 places are filled by 8 electron, means completely filled outermost shell. Argon is an inert gas. And come to the potassium. Potassium has 2881 electron. Okay, the outermost shell has 1 electron. In the potassium, you can see the outermost shell. The outermost shell has space for 8 electron, but the potassium has only 1 electron. So potassium will lose this 1 electron. Potassium will lose this 1 electron to gain the inert gas configuration. After losing of this 1 electron, the electronic configuration of potassium will be 288. It is similar as argon. The argon has 288, and after losing of 1 electron, potassium gains 288 configuration, means the K plus, potassium plus, has 288 electrons. Outermost shell of potassium plus, K plus, has 8 electrons. Okay. In this picture, the groups are written above the groups 1, 2, 3, and the electronic configuration are also written, and these are the periods. And now you can see that the non-metal has nature to gain electron and metal have nature to lose electron. Non-metal have nature to gain electron, metal have nature to lose electron. Metal always form positive ion. Metal always lose electron. Metal will not gain electron. Metals always lose electron. Non-metal generally gains electron in few cases. In few cases, they will not gain electron, but in place of gaining, they share electron. We have heard this sharing, losing, gaining term in the previous chapter. When an atom lose or gain electron, it will form ions, cation and anion, and some electrostatic force of attraction generated between cation and anion, which is known as ionic bond. Okay. But if an atom shares electron, mutual sharing of electron between two atoms, this sharing is known as covalent bonding. So we have learned the covalent bond and ionic bond in the previous chapter. We have learned. Himanshi,
Yes, ma'am.
we have learned the covalent bonding and ionic bonding.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we know how an atom lose or gain electron, and how an atom share electron. Okay. Now, if we talk about the periodic table, you again see the periodic table and check the metallic and non-metallic behavior of the element. This group 1 is a metal, group 2 is metal. These 21 to 30, 39 to 40, these blue columns, these blue blocks are metals. Then this AlGa, indium, thallium, these green boxes are metals. These boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, TePO80 are metalloid. And these carbon, phosphorus, nitrogen, these are non-metal. So in the periodic table, you can see when we move left to right in the periodic table, in the period, when we move left to right, if we move lithium to neon, metallic nature decreases and non-metallic nature increases. Lithium, beryllium are metal and boron to neon are non-metal. When we move left to right in a period, metallic nature decreases, non-metallic nature increases. Same as for the period 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are taking this period 4. These 19 to 30. This potassium to this zinc. All are metals. Then this Ga is a metal, then germanium, arsenic is non-metalloid, and this Se, Br, Kr are non-metal. Means again left to right, metallic nature decreases, non-metallic nature increases. In the group 1 and group 2, all are metal. Transition metals, all are metal. But if we talk about this 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, okay, you can see that in the group 3, first is metalloid, then others are non-metal, others are metal. In the group 4, carbon is a non-metal, silicon, germanium are metalloid, and rest 2 are metals. In the group 5, nitrogen, phosphorus are non-metal, other two As and Sb, arsenic and antimony, Sb are non-metalloid, and then bismuth is a metal. So if we move up to down in a group, metallic nature increases, non-metallic nature decreases. Okay. When we move up to down in a period, metallic nature increases, non-metallic nature decreases. Left to right, non-metallic increases, up to down, metallic increases. Okay. And if we talk about the oxidation number or valency, so valency or oxidation number for the same group are same. For different group, it is different. Transition metals have variable oxidation number, variable valency. Okay, and they have few are fixed valency, few are variable valency. That we will discuss later. And if we talk about the radius and mass, as you can see, the mass number of lithium is 7, nucleon number is 7, and mass of lithium is 7. Sodium has mass number 23 and the atomic mass is 23. So down the group, mass of an atom increases and radius also increases. The size of an atom increases. Density also increases. So we can learn this. We can understand this with a picture. I'm showing to you this. You can see this picture. So this down arrow shows metal getting more reactive or metallic nature increases. Down the group, in the group 1 and group 2, the reactivity increases. Okay. But for the non-metal, you can read this non-metal getting more reactive. This up arrow shows up the group. Down the group, reactivity decreases. When we move down to up the group, reactivity increases. Means fluorine is most reactive and the reactivity decreases down the group for non-metal. For metal, reactivity increases down the group. For metal, reactivity increases down the group. For non-metal, reactivity decreases down the group. Okay. So fluorine is most reactive non-metal, but in the group 1, group 2, cesium is most reactive metal. Okay. So we can understand this by this arrow notation. And density and melting point increases down the group. We know down the group mass increases, mass number increases, size increases, and density also increases. When the density increases, mass increases, melting point and boiling point also increases. There is a relationship between mass and melting point, boiling point. Mass increases, melting point, boiling point increases. But exception cesium, cesium is liquid. Okay. We have another liquid in the transition element, that is mercury, Hg. You have heard this word, mercury, Hg. We are using this mercury in the thermometer. Mercury is also a liquid metal. Cesium has low melting point. It will melt at your palm. Okay. Now, for this non-metallic group, down the group, for all the element present in the periodic table, down the group, size increases, metallic character increases. We have discussed. Okay. Now, when we move left to right, what will happen? When we move left to right in the periodic table in a period, we know that the number of electron in the shell increases. We know the number of electron in the shell increases. We have seen a picture. I'm showing to you this. The boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. As you can see in the picture, this lithium to Ne, they have two shell. In the first shell, lithium has 2 electron. In the second shell, lithium has 1 electron. When we come to the beryllium, in the first shell, beryllium has 2 electron. In the second shell, beryllium has 2 electron. Okay. So we can see in boron, carbon, nitrogen, in the second shell, number of electrons are increasing. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The number of electrons are continuously increasing in the outermost shell. The shells are same, the number of shells are same, only the number of electrons are increasing. Okay. So due to increasing in number of electron, we know number of electrons are equal to the number of proton. For the neutral atom, number of electrons are equal to the number of proton. Proton has positive charge, electron has negative charge. Both the charge amount of charge are equal. That's why the atom is neutral. The total number of negative and total number of positive charge are equal. That's why the atom is neutral. Okay. So if we move left to right, number of electrons are increasing and number of protons are also increasing. Okay. Okay. And we know that electrons are attracted by protons. Positive is attracted by negative, negative attracted by positive. So left to right, nucleus attraction, the attraction of proton towards the electron increases. When the number of electron increases in the shell, number of proton also increases in the nucleus. In that case, the positive and negative charge increases and the attraction between the electron and proton are also increases. So the atom contract. The electrons are come close to the nucleus and the size of atom decreases. Left to right, the size of an atom decreases if the atoms have same shell but the number of electrons are different and they are less metallic. Okay. Now, if you have any doubt, Himanshi, one by one you can ask. Himanshi, if you have any doubt in this, you can ask.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you said the one is inert transition elements and one is transition elements. So what is the
Yes.
difference between them?
Okay. Transition elements, I'm showing the picture. Wait a minute. Okay. Now this is. Transition elements are these elements which are represented by this blue color. These are transition element, and we have just discussed between this La and HF, the number of La to Lu is written. Okay, and this La is kept here, and this Lu is this. La to Lu is kept below the periodic table, means these elements are present here only, but we have kept it here. They are present, they are actually present between Ba to HF here. Okay, between the transition element. They are actually part of transition element, but they are present between two transition element, LaHF. La and HF, they are present between La to HF. Okay, between the transition element, that's why they are called inert transition element. Okay, they are kept between the transition element, that's why they are called inert transition element. Okay, now Garima, you have any doubt, you can ask.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me.
Ma'am, actually in our book there is in the transition metal one we have 261 to 104 to 118 metal also, but in this the periodic table which you are showing, in which there is no such
Okay.
metal.
Okay, we have another periodic table with us. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, this one. We have
Okay.
this one with
So you can see these elements. Okay. This 1132, this 1142, this 118. In the starting of this chapter, I have told you that we have lot many discovered element and few are invented. So these one